Hi, I'm Dr. Levinson again from ABC Hypnosis, and I'm happy to be sitting with Samantha. We've reached the point in her treatment whereby we need to look into the deeper causes of her tendency to put on weight. And that generally involves looking at what's happening or discovering what's happening in her subconscious. When harmony and inner balance is reestablished, the person just lets go, releases the weight. The mind gives direction to the body to just let the weight go. There's not as much a struggle, and as I'm saying actually, it's not even contingent upon the food at that point. So really we're talking about now the shall we say, the supreme role of the mind in creating a weight problem. And the emotion, part of the mind, of course, is thoughts and emotions. I just said to Samantha before we turned this on that we're perhaps looking for, quite often, some kind of fear. That could be, because fear really is something that can get a person stuck quite easily. Because one of the primary roles of the subconscious is, of course, to protect the person. And so if a person somehow programmed their subconscious to protect them via body armor or via holding on to weight because the weight serves some function, then unless they deal with that and supply a new, more healthier alternative or something that's satisfying to the subconscious, then it won't release it. As I was saying to Samantha, the subconscious mind is a tradesperson. If it gives up something, it has to take in something. So if it lets go of the weight, it's got to replace it with something else. We're now we're at the point of the conversation, and I really wanted to talk about this a bit sooner, where I'm going to ask Samantha. She mentioned to me, well, you know, consciously, we're doing a conscious sort of search. Just because before I do the hypnosis, I want to have some idea of where I need to sort of drop my fishing line into the ocean of knowledge, so to speak, if I can use that metaphor. Because it's a big, vast experience, so we want to take it to the general area where this problem can be coming from. So she said just moments ago, you know, I might have a suspicion. I have just a possibility. And I said, that's as good a place to start as any. So I'm going to turn the conversation over to Samantha. Tell me more of what you were referring to about you may have a suspicion as to where this fear or weight attractive energy is coming from. What do you think that is, Samantha?
I actually liked your wording for body armor. I have a suspicion that I put on the weight to make myself proportional. From a very young age, I started developing my chest very young. I started developing around grade 5, and it developed quickly. I have a lot of memories of having men knock on barroom windows and inviting me in for a beer.
Okay.
Being very uncomfortable with the fact that I was very chesty.
So you got propositioned a little bit too soon in your development.
Very much so. I habitually wore very baggy clothing.
And this was from what age on, did you say?
10.
Wow. And of course, that must be a very uncomfortable situation.
Mm-hmm.
And a very threatening situation.
Quite. My mother worked hard at normalizing.
Right.
Which means she tried to teach me a sense of humor about it. I remember her getting me a hat that said cozy is cute but big is better.
Right.
I never wore the hat.
Right.
I remember always wearing baggy clothes and always wearing a t-shirt over my swimsuit.
Right. It's interesting because as I look at you now, although you have larger breasts perhaps, I mean, they're not as apparent because of your weight.
Exactly.
They've gotten lost in the shuffle a little bit. Is that?
That's quite the intent.
That's the intent.
And actually I've also had a reduction.
Oh, you've also had a reduction. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know this before this. No. Okay.
No, it was a large reduction. So.
Okay. All right. So that could have been possibly an attempt at your subconscious to protect you and avoid danger and threatening situations. You know, just from my experience, this is a good possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may just be shall we say, lit on the whole issue. Because normally fears have ancillary or accompanying thoughts. In other words, it involves other things as well. But I would suspect that we could go in and sort of pursue this and explore in your subconscious if in fact this was one of the major reasons for gaining the weight.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. I've seen it before. But again, without asking the subconscious, sometimes what you think was absolute certainty doesn't always turn out to be the answer.
Yep.
Right. So we'll definitely red flag that one. And thank you for sharing that with me at this time.
You're welcome.